I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
Okay, let's start that again. Take two. All right. Happy Tuesday, everybody. This is Tevra Francis from NJ in Color. Thank you for joining me on this Tuesday. Excuse the huffing and puffing. I am 8 months pregnant and I had to run up the stairs real quick, and that was hard. So, thank you for joining me today. We have a really great discussion, very timely, very important, especially for us here in Northern New Jersey. So, we're just going to go ahead and get right into it. Today, we're going to be talking to Estina Baker, who is a New Jersey delegate and political insider here in Northern New Jersey. She's the big sis of a lot of the political people that we know here in our area, especially the ones that are up and coming. We are going to talk with her, and then later on in the chat, we're going to speak with Chondra Young, who is a candidate for Teaneck Council. So because I'm a couple minutes late, I'm just going to get right into it and bring in Mrs. Estina. Hello.
Hello, my dear.
Hi. Thank you so much, Ms. Baker, for coming on today. This was totally thrown together last minute, and because things are changing like every single minute, it seems like. Thank you just for being so gracious and allowing me to harass you for an interview.
Anytime. You know
Thank you
that.
so much. And so, just so everybody's aware, you can ask questions in the chat. Go ahead and post your questions. So, Ms. Baker, I've known you or known of you or watched you from afar for years now. Ever since I started Bergen in Color, now NJ in Color, I've always kind of looked up to you as one of the pillars in our community, especially in Bergen County. And I just wanted you to know that, your influence is always definitely felt, even if, you don't realize it.
Thank
So
you.
one of the things we wanted to talk about today was, first of all, I want people to get to know you. They already know you, but I want those who are being introduced to you to get to know who you are and some of the things you've done before we get into our actual discussion.
Wonderful. So I come from national field working on campaigns. Two of the larger campaigns would be 2008, 2012, being able to re-elect the first Black president ever. But I've been involved in campaigns in several states, notably North Carolina, Pennsylvania, New Jersey. Currently, I serve as the chief of staff to the youngest ever elected senator in the state of New Jersey. I'm the chief of staff to Senator Brittany Timberlake. And I always keep my hand in things locally and pretty much around the country when my young people call me and ask me questions or want me to sit on a panel. Because to me, as long as we are keeping ourselves properly informed, there's a difference between espousing your opinion and actually being properly informed so you can have an informed opinion. And that is very important to me. And I spend a lot of my time sitting on Zoom panels for folks across the country to make sure that we're operating with the right information so that we can continue to move our communities across the country forward.
Thank you for that. So again, you mentioned your like I said, also you're a mentor to lots of the up and coming politicians, those who have aspirations. You are the current chief of staff for Brittany Timberlake, who is the youngest senator for New Jersey. Talk about some of your, I guess you call them your babies, or your cousins, or talk about some of the people that we should be having on our radar. Like, who should we be looking at for the next chapter of New Jersey politics, especially from a Black perspective?
So certainly, which is foremost, I'm interested in all perspectives, but my most personal and my most passionate perspective as a Black lady is certainly Black politics. And I make no bones about that, but I'm available to talk to all kinds of young people. I'm interested in young people. So number one on my hit parade would be Congresswoman-elect, well, she will be elect within a few weeks, would be LaMonica McIver, who is a brilliant young woman. She's only 37 years old, and she is the president of the Newark City Council, and she's only the second woman to be the president of the Newark City Council.
Yeah,
She has done groundbreaking things, making sure that her ward is no longer a food desert, with a fabulous brand new ShopRite, and doing things that people don't understand really change the quality of life for individuals. I'm very interested in the trajectory of my niece, Danielle G., who's the deputy mayor of Teaneck. Sky's the limit, brilliant young woman. I'm very supportive of she and the other council member. I am just so proud of them because as Black women, we go back and we stand in the moment of a Shirley Chisholm. When I was having a discussion with some other Democratic delegates, and some people kind of felt that Kamala Harris should have gone through a primary. They thought it would make her stronger. I didn't really get incredulous about that comment, but I had to say to them, how much stronger does the second only in the history of these United States Black woman elected as a senator, how much stronger does someone who ran as the prosecutor, who ran as the AG statewide in California, then became the senator, then became the vice president, how much stronger do you think she can get? And I take it upon myself to call out the inequities that I see. When people make what I think, I disagree with them vehemently. And I'm going to be that Black voice that's going to say, whoa. Wait a minute, what is with this? And I don't mind being that voice for my younger sisters and brothers, because I'm here for that. If I'm going to mentor you, I'll take those hits for you. And I just want people to understand, if we're talking about fairness and equity, probably Kamala Harris is probably one of the most equipped people to be the president of the United States. Look at that. So that's kind of my role right now. But I would say on the congressional level, the fact that we will have another woman and a Black woman that will be a representative from the great state of New Jersey. And I will remind everyone that when Donald Payne Sr., who was one of my mentors, that was only in the 80s when he got elected. We're not talking about 75 years ago we had a Black elected. And one of my absolute big sisters, my big sister and mentor, of course, who I support, even though she's nowhere near my district, would be our dear sister, Congresswoman Bonnie Watson Coleman.
Awesome. And she's very much beloved throughout the state, but she's very much, an impactful leader in the state of New Jersey. And hopefully one day when I grow up, I'll be able to talk to her as well.
We can arrange that. I serve on a couple of her fundraising committees. We can.
Nice. Let me grow up first. grow into North Jersey, and then we move on down to South Jersey. Okay, so you mentioned Danielle G. The other councilwoman is Denise Belcher.
That's right. So I support them. I stand in full support of their brilliance, their transparency, and all that they're trying to do.
Awesome. So before we get into the DNC talk, we had a big shift in leadership, or we're undergoing a huge shift in leadership right now with the death of Representative Bill Pascrell. He used to be our representative where I live, but they did some switching around with some of the boundaries. So that area covers parts of Bergen, parts of Hudson, and a good chunk, if not all, of Passaic counties. So tell us about your thoughts about Representative Pascrell's passing, and now the current back and forth about the handing of the torch.
Well, we got word in Chicago, and, a couple of people were very upset, and I had not heard yet because I was meeting with a couple of people and we were coming out of breakfast. And I hugged the two people that I saw crying, but I didn't know why they were crying. But I'm a practicing Christian, and the Christian in me just went to hug them and see if I could be of comfort. And then 15 minutes later, actually still standing in the delegate breakfast room, I found out. Congressman Pascrell, I had the great pleasure of working on some gun legislation pieces with him when I was working for the administration many moons ago. A wonderful man that never forgot where he came from, still lived in the same house, and in DC, of course, but in the same house in Patterson, well known and beloved. Me personally, I am close with all three elected officials in that district, and I have the good sense to understand that I was asked to join some Zooms or whatever. I'm not involving myself in that. Number one, I don't live in that district. Number two, I have deep-rooted relationships with all three people, and I don't feel that it is my business to offer any opinions or get involved and make any kind of choices, because I have equal relationships. And sometimes you have to be wise enough to understand that you pray the best for each individual that is running. I will say, and I can say, that all three of those, the two assembly people and the current state senator, are some of the finest public servants I have ever worked with, I have ever been upon. But as I told a couple of folks that reached out to me within the last few days, I will not be getting involved in that.
Okay. And that's fair. That's fair. And smart. So again, mentee to mentor. Thank you for that. So with that said, we're going to go ahead, and you talked about you learned the news while you were at the delegate breakfast. So let's talk about your experience in Chicago for the Democratic National Convention. On TV, it looked amazing. It looked like the best week ever. Everybody's FOMO was kicking in. So tell us about the fun stuff, but also tell us about the business, because it was not just about, Little John and the rap and all the stuff. There were actually pertinent issues that were addressed and things that were hashed out. So talk about some of the things you experienced while in Chicago.
So I knew that song, though, but I didn't know his name.
Lil Jon.
Yeah, I knew after some of the young people in our delegation. I said, what's his name? They said, Mrs. Estina, that's Little John. And I was like, turn up for what? Like everybody, the entire place, every generation. But I want people to understand, yes, there are a lot of things in the evening that are very social oriented. During the day, I attend caucus meetings. So the two caucus meetings that are important to me is the Black Caucus of the DNC, the Women's Caucus, and also the Labor Caucus. Those are like my top three. And those are serious meetings with serious concerns, with real business going on there. I must tell you that as electric as the watching audience saw, I've been to several conventions, worked one of them, participated in a couple of them, and this was a different kind of convention. I was in Denver when we had that convention. I was some other places, and there's different moments. This is just not a moment in our history. This is a movement. The reality is what we have endured over the last 8 years, especially 8 years ago, dealing with those 4 years and then getting to Joe Biden. I'm going to be quite frank with you. For me personally, in the age demographic that I am, I would have pushed Joe Biden on a gurney. And I was going to be straight up Joe Biden. I was staying loyal to Joe Biden. My only concern was, please allow this man some dignity, because we must stop and think. None of this would be possible, including our delightful Justice Ketanji Brown, if it wasn't for Joe Biden.
That's a fact.
Now, we need to be very clear about that. And once that he reconciled with what he needed to do, that was one of the most patriotic things I have witnessed in my 50 some odd years of being involved politically. During the convention, during the day okay, so all delegations have breakfasts at 8 o'clock in the morning where you receive your credential for the day, because they give it to you every day. Nothing is released before that day. That's across the board for all 50 states and the territories.
Got it.
During that time, you'll have speakers come in. So we had the governor of Michigan. We had the governor of Pennsylvania. We had the first Black female mayor from Philly. So we had some really great speakers in addition to our own statewide speakers. We had Mikey Sharrow. We had Cory Booker. Cory Booker had so much energy, he didn't even stay at the podium. He jumped up on top of the table.
Wow.
But it wasn't something facetious or something like that. It just was, that was the vibe just in the breakfast room.
Okay.
That was just the vibe. And then, of course, we had our governor. And our governor now is famous for telling the whole world that we're from
Jersey and you're not.
And every time somebody said something to us, they said, "Where you from?" We said, "Oh, we're from New Jersey and you're not." And they just thought that was hilarious. So that happens for everybody during the day from 9:30 until 2 o'clock. There are caucus meetings where real business is being done. So every type of group that you can think of, there's a caucus meeting and people talk. And these are people from all over the country are in the meeting with you. Then there's a break, and then you have to be in your seat by the time they hit the gavel. And even before we got there, we had to certify the vice president. People said, "Oh, well, we didn't get a chance to have another primary." No, because now it's on the delegates. It was up to us whether or not we were going to certify her. And the great state of New Jersey came to the conclusion that all of us would. And we had 3 uncommitteds who voted present, and we respected their opinion. I personally spent time with some young people that were part of the uncommitted movement while I was out there. They asked me if I would sit down and talk with them and listen to them, which I did. We had a good exchange. Some things I agreed with, some things I did not. I gave them something to think about in terms of strategy. I had to explain to something. You come from an instantaneous background because you're young people, you're millennials. I understand what it's like to go ahead and protest, but also work behind the scenes. But everything is not instantaneous. That doesn't mean that any group has a corner market on pain and suffering or horrific things happening. I want you to know I acknowledge all of that. I am a Black woman in America who has been through quite a bit, irrespective of my socioeconomic standing. I'm a Black lady. There's just things that have happened and things that I have seen, but I listened to them and I wanted them to understand that I was willing to listen because they had contacted me beforehand, before going, and asked me if I would listen to them. And I told them absolutely. And no, I did not agree with everything. And yes, I gave them tips on how you move what you want to happen forward. And no, I'm not going to debate you because I don't debate atrocity. Atrocity is atrocity. And I don't debate that because for me, there is no debating that. But that was a nice thing that we were able to connect with young people and talk with them and be of the same political party and not necessarily agree on everything, but I heard them out and they were appreciative.
Nice.
I listened. And those are the kinds of things that happen when we're at convention. You know, what you saw in terms of what went on, that was spontaneous. A lot of it was planned. Me personally, I've never seen a roll call like that.
No, I don't think anybody ever has seen a roll call like that. Usually that's the part you skip.
It made it like we probably had delegates from their mid-20s all the way up to over or close to 80 years old. And we all found the commonality that this was amazing and we were all together. And I also appreciated the fact that no one group of people or political party has a corner market on patriotism. And I think that was on full display, which I've never seen before, because perhaps the party did other things and everybody felt that. I didn't just have one American flag, I had two. And I feel that I can hold two from my grandfather who served in World War I, a college graduate, that when he came back from serving in World War I, people that he liberated had more rights than he did. But he still was a patriot to the United States of America. So I was there representing, I felt him, my dear father, who I lost a few years ago, and so many others, that it was wonderful. And we didn't, even though we had different opinion in terms of certain things, I just felt like for that 5 days, we were all just American.
Awesome.
We were Americans who were part of the Democratic Party. I didn't feel a separation.
So let's talk about the actual action items. So everybody, you had this big conference, you talked to your various caucuses, and then also we're going to talk about your involvement with labor and unions in just a second. But what are the marching orders now that you're back home and everybody's been given their directives? I know the whole thing is that I don't even know the day count as far as from now to November, but we only have a certain amount of time to be able to help fundraise, to get people registered, all of that stuff. So what are the marching orders directly from the DNC as to what we should be doing at this point?
So I have several. I'm going to start sending out a link to everybody that, you know how sometimes I do those group texts or whatever, because $5, $2, $3 is very much so. So I've just been given a link that people can use. They'll know that it's safe, that it's secure, it's ActBlue, doesn't come to me, doesn't come to a county party, goes directly to the campaign. I'm going to start sending out that link because you might have an extra $3 or $5 we put together. So the biggest marching orders for the state of New Jersey, which we had great discussion with the governor of Pennsylvania, we're going to go to Pennsylvania and help there.
Okay.
We're going to go to Philly and we're going to go to what they call the bedroom counties, which are the suburbs of Philadelphia. And we will have buses and things which will be forthcoming. I will make sure that I let you know so that you can use your platforms and others. We're going to go to Pennsylvania. New Jersey is not a concern in terms of us not being blue. So we need to help our neighboring state, which would be Pennsylvania, which is a battleground.
But can I interject real quick? We shouldn't take it for granted that New Jersey is a blue state, because that just leads people to not go because they think everybody else is going. Just if you can vote, vote. That's all.
Well, that's the same thing we did during Obama, though. And it's not even alluding to the fact that nobody needs to vote. The simple reality is monies will not be spent in the state of New Jersey like they will be spent in Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, North Carolina, and Nevada, those battlegrounds. So it is our charge to uplift the campaign by helping in a neighboring state. So there are going to be people knocking doors, of course, and we've got unions and grassroots groups that will be knocking doors in New Jersey for the plurality of people to participate. But where our help is most needed is sending that $2, that $3, and going to a neighboring state where we can make all of the difference in the universe. Because if we are knocking doors and making phone calls and writing postcards to the bedroom communities and to Philadelphia. I mean, I worked in Philadelphia, I think it was either 2008 or 2012. I was in Pennsylvania both those times. But I had whole precincts that did not vote for the opposition. Like, I mean, I had whole precincts that's how well we did with getting the vote out.
Yeah.
So again, I want to repeat, it's not that New Jersey is not important, but in the grand scheme of battleground states, it's not even on the radar. We are expected, and we will work hard to make sure that we get our numbers up, which do seem to rise in a presidential year. But our marching orders are to do something. Whatever that little something is, whether it's making phone calls for 15 minutes, knocking doors in your own state, being able to get on the bus, get in the carpool, and go to Pennsylvania. Our marching orders is to do something. We are going to do something, and anybody can put in the chat. I can reach out and figure out how we can best serve your interest. But everybody within the sound of my voice, and for those people who are going to tell somebody about today's broadcast, all of us can do something.
Awesome. So last question. So you mentioned the unions. You're very heavily involved in the unions. You were part of the CWA?
I was part of their political shop. Yeah.
My dad was a member for years and years and years. So I have a special little place in my heart. Just tell us really quickly about the importance of unions and this election, and then we're going to wrap things up.
So if you work an 8-hour day, thank a union. If you get to go to the bathroom every 4 hours or whenever you need to, thank a union. If you have sick days, vacation days, thank a union. If there are not people that are underage working where you work, thank a union. If you have dignity and honor in getting up and doing a good day's work for a reasonable day's pay, thank a union. If you've never been a member of a union, but you have all of those things that I just mentioned, clap your hands and thank a union. That is part of it. I have union DNA in my blood. My grandfather was one of the founders of the Brotherhood of Pullman Porters. So with A. Philip Randolph, and people need to understand their history. One person did not organize all of those men. There were many other gentlemen, and quite a few of them were college graduates from like the late 1920s. So these were Black men with degrees who knew what they were about, and many did not have degrees, and they worked just as hard. But the whole thing with labor, when people say, labor, but if you benefit from anything that I mentioned, when you say your prayers or when you wake up in the morning, thank a union.
All right. Well, Miss Baker, thank you so much. Mrs. Estina, it's just easier for me to call you Mrs. Estina because you're my cousin in my head. So thank you so much for your time today. Thank you for all of the wisdom that you've shared, over the years, either directly or indirectly. And if you can you tell us how people can contact you, because there are people that would want to be in touch. How can people contact you? I have your Instagram handle here at Estina Baker. How can they contact you directly?
Well, that's kind of funny, because until my son told me, I was trying to figure out how does the Facebook stuff get on Instagram. So for me, I love to return emails. It's so much easier. If anyone has a question or they want to speak to me, first and last name, lowercase, Estina Baker @gmail. No dots, no numbers, because I wasn't sure if I would remember that, but I do know my name. So it's Estina Baker @gmail. I return emails every evening. A lot of young people that I met in Chicago, if you email me with a question, you want to work on something, you want to get involved, I will find something for you and I will return your email.
Awesome. Well, with that said, we are going to, let me put this up. Okay. There you go. We are going to log off with you today, but thank you again for your time, and we'll be in touch.
Thank you, my brilliant one, and let me know when you have that baby.
Oh, gosh. Soon. She soon come.
All right. Have a great day, everybody.
Okay. So we are going to move forward. So that was the fabulous Miss Estina Baker. And here's her contact information right here. If you guys got that, let me go ahead and take this off. I didn't introduce myself at all during during the rush to get on because I was late. So my name is Tevra Francis, and I am the how do you get this thing off? I am the founder of NJ in Color, and we're gonna go right into our next topic. So first things first, I gotta make my ducat. So I'm wearing an NJ in Color shirt to represent the brand. You can get yours at njincolor.com. Support the platform. Girls just trying to make a living. I got a baby on the way, another baby to feed. So help a sister out. All right. So with that said, we're going to go into local politics in Teaneck. We have a few weeks ago, we spoke with Reach McCann and Dwayne Harley about their candidacy for Teaneck Council. And now we are going to speak to another candidate. Her name is Chondra Young, and she is a longtime resident and personality and personality, like I'm a personality. She's a hardworking person that has been involved in Teaneck politics for a very long time. And we are going to get to know her. She's been on here before. So she was here with another slate a few years, maybe 2 years ago, Rise for Teaneck. And she's back at it again. She's going to try to be the next councilwoman from Teaneck. So we are going to talk to Chondra Young. Hey, Chondra.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. How are you?
Good. I'm good. Like I told you, I'm in between meetings here in Montclair, so I'm jumping on here through the car. So I want to make sure it was clear and you can hear me.
Yeah, we got you. We got you. Thank you for joining us from the car. I hope you have your air conditioning on. It's hot.
It's hot.
All right, so let's go ahead and get this show started. Thank you for joining me today. Like I said, you've been on here before, so people know who you are. But tell us about yourself and things, that you want us to know that we probably have forgotten about since the last time you were on here.
Yes, absolutely. I just want to first thank the fabulous Estina Baker, one of my mentors as well, for a fabulous presentation and an uplifting spirit. And yes, hope is definitely back in the DNC. So me, I am a 40-year resident here of Teaneck, married for 25 years, 2 lovely children that I raised in the public school system, ages 24 and 20 years old. And they're both doing absolutely fabulous. And that's pretty much it about my, my personal life. I don't get too much about that. But as far as my involvement in the community, like you said, I have ran before. I did run with the Rise slate in 2022, but I was shy of 109 votes there. And
it was really close.
It was very close. And as I told everyone that night, I said, you know me. I may run for a political office, but the work in the community never stops and never starts. So it's a continuous thing for me. Whether I win or whether I lose, you're going to see me here in this community doing the work. I currently serve as the treasurer of the library board. I sit on the library board, as well as I sit on the Center for Food Action Board, which is a great passion of myself. Food insecurities is something that is very... I'm passionate about, as well as I'm a part of the social action committee of my sorority, Delta Sigma Theta sorority, which I'm a member of 30 years. So you can't be on that sorority without doing community service. So in itself, that's 30 years of community service there, as well as, the work that I put in here in Teaneck. I've been a president of PTOs. I started a track team here. I actually graduated from Leadership Teaneck in 2011, back when Jackie Cates was around, and that was some really high times for Teaneck in the political realm. And I'm just here to serve the people. And as I tell everyone, you may see me engaging with everyone because I meet the residents where they are, because it's about Teaneck. It's never about me.
So what is different about this campaign versus your last one? What are you doing differently?
Differently, first off, I am running independently. The last campaign, every campaign is a different scenario. So you have to look at the climate. You have to look at the statistics. I'm a numbers person. I'm a controller for a real estate development company where I am in charge of over $45 million in assets. So I am a statistic and a numbers person. And like I said, the last campaign was analytically, it made sense to run as a slate. Some things went into place there, slate placement and different things where I came up short. However, this election, I am running independently. It is a different election from 2022. And my message is still the same. I'm still engaging and educating. I think it's key to educate the residents. We say we want to get more people involved and we need to galvanize people. But the thing is, we need to educate people because we don't want people to be involved just for today, just for an election, just because they resonate with the particular candidate. One thing and like Estina said, I do email her and she gets right back to you. One thing I did want to ask her online, but I'll shoot her an email is, what is the plans and what was the consensus of the DNC for the next elections? Because we always have to keep looking forward and we can't look at today. So with that, I am looking forward and making sure that we educate the residents. We don't need them just to come out and vote for Chondra today. We need them to hold Chondra accountable. And in order to hold Chondra accountable, they need to know the issues. We need to educate them. And that's important for me.
So, I'll say this because I don't live in Teaneck. I don't live in Teaneck. The People's Republic of Teaneck is what I call it. So with that said, there are a lot of issues. There are a lot of issues facing Teaneck as a locality with various things that everybody's dealing with. There's flooding issues. There's all types of stuff going on. The school board issues. There's several things happening, but there's also the impact of global politics that have kind of gripped Teaneck and changed it to be somewhere that has become very tense. So with your campaign, with your, if you do win, how are you going to change the climate in Teaneck while still addressing the local issues that affect the actual residents of Teaneck?
As I mentioned before, winning is not the end all be all for me. I am working for unity as we speak. I'd say about 4 years ago, we started doing a group called Undoing Racism with Ms. Lockie, and then that converted over into a group 2 years ago called Teaneck Race Amity. That's something that is, I'm one of the founding members of that organization as well. And I've been working tirelessly, discussions and creating environments where people can come together. So we're seeing some movement and we're seeing some progress. And what I'm telling everyone is we have to be a little bit louder than the naysayers because, we don't want to keep promoting this narrative of, we're so divisive, we're so not connected, when there's so many people that are connected. The dialogue has started over 2 years ago, and there are a group of people that are working together tirelessly trying to get that unity back. As I say, let's put the unity back in community. But it's not about winning in November. We are starting the work, and I have started the work for years now. So it's nothing's going to happen overnight. It's not something that we can wake up and say, we're back together. We're back, doing this thing. We're taking each step together, but it's a working process. And the process has started, I'd say over 2 years ago, and I will continue that.
Gotcha. So, with that said, you said that the dialogue has been happening. Things have been changing. However, again, I'm an outsider. Don't throw tomatoes at me. It seems like a lot of the Black voices are being lost in the shuffle. And so as a Black woman in Teaneck running for office or just being a politically, savvy person, how are you connecting with the Black and Brown community in Teaneck while still maintaining, connections with other groups and fostering unity? How do you make sure that those voices are not lost in the shuffle? Because in many instances, it seems like some of those voices that have been lost. So what is your plan to either bridge that gap, or do you not see the gap, or speak to that part?
The gap is there. The gap is there. The gap is consistently being worked on, trying to be bridged. I engage with residents and I meet them where they are. I meet them everywhere they are. If you see me, I'm going to be everywhere, whether it's in our Black community, our Muslim community, our Jewish community, our Hispanic community, our tall community, our short people community. I'm going to be at every event, every activity I can be at. And with that, I get to talk to the residents and I get to hear exactly how they feel, where they're at, so that they feel comfortable talking to me where they're at, instead of enforcing, we need more people to come to council. Sometimes people are just busy. And several people are just busy. And particularly when I speak to many of residents in the Black community, it's our normal kitchen table ideas that we want to talk about. Other than that, a lot of times they're not so involved in the international and this issues. And they want to get back to the local issues. And so when I meet them where they at, they tend to talk about those things, and they don't feel so pressured into talking about these international issues, because a lot of times when it's at a council meeting or when it's at these forums, they feel as though that is the focus, when the focus should be on local issues. They want to know, why does my street look like this? Why am I paying for garbage? Why is my taxes so high? Why, what can I do about this 18-wheeler truck being parked outside my house when I'm getting ready to sell my house? Is my property value going to go down? They want to talk about those normal things. So, I manage that by just meeting residents where they are, making them feel as though they're comfortable, making them, allowing them to see that I am approachable and they're comfortable, that they can discuss whatever they need to discuss with me. And then I educate them on things that I know, and things that I don't know. I always have my pencil and my pen, and I write down everything I hear, and I get back to residents. I get back to them, and I direct and I guide. That's a way of empowering residents, instead of just saying, vote for me, I'll do this, I'll do that. I want to show you how. And I did that recently with my Block association, and I showed them how they can empower their voices, where we all got together, wrote letters, sent emails to our new town manager, and we got some things done on our street, and we're going to continue to do that. And that's the things I'll be continuing to do in my area of the Northeast.
Nice. Okay, so I'm gonna put a pause. If you guys have questions for Chondra, go ahead and put them in the chat. I can see them. Go ahead and put them in the chat now. Chondra, so okay, like I said, the last time you were here, you were with the Rise for Teaneck slate.
Yes.
Lots of things have happened. Relationships are now different. How, if you are elected, how are you going to, or do you plan to collaborate, work with, heal, mend? What is the strategy if you are elected with some of these relationships that have changed?
Has somewhat gone a farce. I am a big person on just presenting yourself as you are. I create an environment, and my disposition is where I'm approachable, and I feel as though I'm going to bring that culture to the council, where I can bring people together. I can work across the table with those that I disagree with. I have that personality. I have that integrity. I have that, that calmness about me, where I can get the work done. And that's what it's about, getting the work done. I'm not here to, make people be best friends. I understand that some things have gone awry with the Rise campaign, as far as maybe some relationships there per se with Denise, Danielle, Hillary. And yes, I am calling things out because we have to. I'm not calling it out in a sense to be negative, but I'm calling it out in a sense to let you know that these are things that I plan on addressing, and I plan on identifying, and I plan on being a part of. And again, like I said, you don't have to be best friends, but you have to know how to work with people. And if you cannot communicate and work with people, that's a problem. And I don't see that as a problem for me.
So you called specific names. So I'll say this as Trevor Francis. I hate watching y'all's council meetings. Like, I hate it. It just makes me so mad, because it seems at times to be very abusive to those.
And that's what I want to change. That is what I want to change. I want to change the culture.
That's my question, because it is
culture,
very abusive.
Change the integrity, change the trust in local government. We have to change that. And I think it is up. It's the onus of the people that get elected. It's up to you. You can't keep pointing the fingers. You have to change the disposition of the council.
Well, it could go both ways, because I feel like as I think that the culture is overall, like globally, like everybody has just become more rude, more harsh, more
Yes.
just more
Aggressive,
abusive towards each other.
aggressive
It
and
has become
abusive.
like
Yeah.
part of our culture now, which is
Yeah.
unacceptable. Um,
Yes.
People need to understand that council people are also volunteers. Like they are trying to be public servants. They don't deserve, even if you don't agree, they don't deserve to be, labeled, attacked, personally attacked.
But it does come with the work, though. You
It
gotta
does
be. I
come with
mean,
the
this
work,
is
but that doesn't make it right.
no,
So
it
my
doesn't make it
question
right for
is,
government. We're not going to be able to change that part of it.
yeah, but I
Yeah.
think, it's one thing to say, the people in Washington, yada yada yada. But if this is your neighbor in your town, it's a whole nother, ball game. So how do
Mhm.
you plan to, with the alliances that you may or may not have developed over this 2 year span of time, how do you plan to kind of quell some of that anger and quell some of that, rage that seems to be part of Teaneck politics now?
As leaders, you have to lead, and the main thing that I can do is lead and lead by example. Get
Mm-hmm.
the work done. Like
Mm-hmm.
Estina said, do something. It's
Mm-hmm.
about doing something. It's not really about relationships, and we can't focus on relationships. If I'm not going to be your best friend, that's fine. But
Mm-hmm.
if you're not going to meet me at the environmental commission meeting and make sure that we push forth for LED buildings or some green space or some
Mm-hmm.
open space, then then the relationship kind of stops there. It's not about being best friends and quailing, getting back to being kumbaya. It's about, are we going to get the work done, and are you going to meet me at the table to get that
Mm-hmm.
work done?
So, some months ago, there was the whole real estate situation, and real estate convention, I guess, that was in Teaneck, that was being held in Teaneck. That the resulting
Mm-hmm.
events were very much divisive, and you were loosely quoted. I'm not going to quote you directly, but you went to the event and you said if people had a question about what was done, to come and ask you. So I'm asking you, girl, what happened, and tell us about it so we can understand. Because
Absolutely.
part of bringing forth change is educating, and people
Educating, and that's
make
what it's
assumptions
about.
when they don't understand or they don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So we just want to know, like,
What was it? What was it like?
what
What was it
happened.
like? Well, when I
Or,
went in, so I registered. I was given a background check. I was called first with several questions. They asked me several questions, just I guess to identify, to make sure the person I was registering was really the person I was going to walk in. So I was questioned first before I was given a pass to go in. And then when I got there, I was also searched. And when I say search, they had actual security searching you before you can even walk into the synagogue. The presentation was not inside the chapel; it was outside in I believe it was like the banquet hall type area.
Mhm,
So when I walked in, it was more to the right, whereas the chapel was to the left.
mhm,
I thought I would be looked at like, who is this black girl coming in here? What? And I wasn't. People just kind of ignored me. So that experience kind of took me for a loop, because when I looked around, I was not the only black female. I was not the only black person, nor was I the only black female there.
mhm,
Um, which I asked questions when I did. I stopped a couple of people that I saw was of black heritage, so I thought, and they let me know, oh no, I'm from here, or I'm from there, I'm not even from Teaneck. Um, so it was a mixture of people, not necessarily from Teaneck. Just trying to give you a sense of what, how it felt when I walked in. So then
mhm,
when I sat down, I saw it was a complete space of uh, presentations and
mhm,
locations and mortgage people and bankers. And I sat down with as many people as I can sit down with to ask lots of questions about, where is this location, and
mhm,
how was this location acquired, and, uh, what does this transaction look like? And as a Black woman, can I buy? And I was told, and I don't have all my notes in front of me because I want to make sure that everything is direct. Because like I said, this was a while ago and I didn't know we were going to focus directly on international affairs. I thought we were going to focus more on local issues, but needless to say, that I did ask, as a Black woman, can I buy in this area? And I was told, well, certain areas, no, you cannot buy, because this area may only be for people that speak Hebrew. It's pretty much the developer's choice. The developer, in certain areas, the developer can say, this area is only for English speaking Americans that decide to relocate to Israel. So they do have, how we have certain communities here that may be senior housing, or it may be for, that's what they do have. So when I specifically asked, is there any places that I'm going to be blocked out of? They did name some places that I would be blocked out of based on those things, not based on because I'm Black or anything per se, but based on, it could be based on, the number of things that I did just mention.
Gotcha.
And then, they were very open to answering my questions about acquiring, whether the government acquired these spaces. And, so it was a very open space. It wasn't, oh my God, here she comes, don't answer her, don't.
Okay. Gotcha. Thank you for that. Because like I said, they say, knowing is half the battle, G.I. Joe. So, all right. So we'll
but I was treated no differently from anyone that walked in there. They just said, look, if you got the money to put down, you can buy something.
Okay. Gotcha. So with that, back to Teaneck. What are some of the specific things you want to change in Teaneck? I know there, like I just said earlier, there are lots of issues, particularly in Teaneck. I know we had back-to-back flooding in our entire area, so that's a problem. What are some of the things that you are prepared to take on once you, if elected, what you plan to do?
Okay, some things I plan on taking on. Just want to mention, since you mentioned the flooding, I did speak with Mayor Wiles, and I'm in touch with the mayor of Bergenfield. I just wanted to get a hold on what they're doing as far as flooding, and is there anything that we can work together? But that's just something I tapped into recently. But things that I specifically have been working on that I will continue to work on is improving the economic stance here in Teaneck, and improving the vibrance here in Teaneck. I am a part of Teaneck Road Business Community Alliance. I've been a part of that organization, I would say, for over 16 years now, back when Joyce Giddens was involved and she was the president, and now Dr. Liza is involved, and we just had our meeting last night. And some of the things that we are working on is beautifying Teaneck. I'm a part of the Garden Club, so there's a project that I will be working on with the Garden Club to, do some planters, do some more things to beautify Teaneck, as well as speaking with people like Michael Rockland and Safe Streets Teaneck to see how these grants can work in favor of Teaneck Community Business Alliance, as well as Safe Street Teaneck. We can do some shared things, because we don't have to just be individual organizations working on things. So I like to collaborate with other organizations, and they're working on getting grants, and we're working on beautifying the space and making Teaneck Road, not just Teaneck Road, but DeGraw, Queen Anne Road, State Street, more walkable and more inviting for residents to come. And so I will be working with Safe Streets Teaneck and working with trying to get that grant to make sure that we can beautify Teaneck as well. So that's one of the things. Another thing, in reference to economically stimulating our economy here in Teaneck, is I am, and have been since 2022, since I ran, working with an organization that I'm formulating called Entrepreneurship Teaneck. And we're currently working on grants and funding. And if anyone's interested, they can reach out to me directly. We have a team in place, and we're putting together the programs and the classes in place. And again, this doesn't happen overnight. So we've been putting this together for about 2 years. We're going to roll it out soon. It's in conjunction with the Board of Ed. And where we'll be identifying, and counselors will be identifying, and parents will be identifying students that as early as ninth grade can be a part of this entrepreneurship Teaneck program, where they may have identified that they don't want to go to college and incur that debt. I know I've spoken to many students, as well as my own students. One of my daughters is currently getting her master's, and my other daughter, she will be an orthopedic surgeon, so she's going to be in school forever. So students are not inclined to get that debt, and they want to do something else. So with Entrepreneurship Teaneck, we will be able to, pick up on, in that space where students will be able to jump in and be a part of learning practical things such as business management, marketing tools, and whether you want to open a nail salon, whether you want to start your own software company. But the ideal is for these students to get mentored from 9th through 12th grade. They will take classes. They will have volunteer requirements. We have the local business owners. We have a few that have signed up. We're still signing up more that have signed up to be a part of this program, where the students will volunteer in their businesses. And then once the student graduates in 12th grade, with the money and the grants that we receive, they will be able to apply for a grant to open up a business in Teaneck. The goal is for the business to be in Teaneck, to circumvent some of these vacancies that we have going on here in Teaneck. So that's one of the projects that I have been working on, and we hope to bring that to the table.
I have a question about the Entrepreneurship Teaneck part. As you know, Realistic Beauty and some of our other Black-owned businesses have closed. There are others that are struggling currently that are in Teaneck. Does this program include like some type of assistance for those existing brick and mortar businesses? Or if not, like what would be your plan to help currently standing like Brush Culture?
No, it does include.
And some of the others,
Yes.
So how do you plan to like address those?
No,
businesses?
it does include. I speak with those owners. I speak with Joanne. I speak with Jadine and Shawnee,
Judith
and Judith. Yes, I speak with all of them on a regular basis, just to get some consensus of, where you are with your business. How do you feel that you need help? Sometimes they're not quite sure. They just, when people say we need foot traffic, that in itself is to me. When we say things, we have to have some action items behind it. We can't just say things that are cliche and sound good. Foot traffic in itself, does that mean that you are for development and putting all these big buildings around so that we do get foot traffic? Or are you about more advertising? I'm about more advertising, more marketing, more speaking to the soul of the people so that they understand why and how they can support these businesses. Many people don't really know how they can support. And when you speak to the business owners and you get a sense of, okay, where are they and how can your regular residents support? So this program does have a handle of mentorship. We will be incorporating that. That is part of the dues. So the businesses pay dues into the Teaneck Road Business Community Alliance. And with that dues, they will be able to get some mentorship. That's where I'm finding some of the business owners, because what happens is, what I'm finding is some of these buildings are absentee owner. So the people that are opening these businesses are renting. They're renting the businesses, and the owners may per se have inherited these buildings. So it's not really a loss to them if they don't get the rent, if they get a vacancy. It's not really a loss because the buildings have been in their families for a while. Yes, people want that rent roll, but if they miss 2 or 3 months of rent because of vacancy, it may not be a problem. But for us, it doesn't look good for the community of Teaneck. So that is something that I want to, try to circumvent. And, speaking with the owners directly, that is something that I'm doing with the Teaneck Business Community Alliance, speaking with the owners directly and working with those business owners. So there's a difference between the building owners and the business owners. We have to make sure that they are connected so that they are substantially supported by each other, because if the owner of the building is not supporting the actual person that rents from them, it makes it hard. And it makes it hard for us as community residents to even help them. But yes, the mentorship piece, as far as lending them a hand with marketing and making sure that they understand the demographics of Teaneck, because it's great when you have a great idea and you want to come to a particular area on Cedar Lane and open up a Black hair care salon. But if you don't understand the demographics and, you know, who walks up and down that street and how do we get more Black people to possibly walk in that area to use that salon, because or to use that hair care place, because if you're catering to Black hair, you have to make sure that you market a certain way. So maybe the owner needs some help with marketing. These are tools that I definitely want to bring. And it may not just be, you know, marketing within Teaneck. We may need to market Teaneck, Inglewood, Hackensack, Bergenfield, because, you know, because some of us from Teaneck,
I give up sometimes, but yeah, no, as a marketer,
we run the
I get it.
Ave in a hot minute.
As a marketer, I definitely get it. And sometimes I talk till I'm blue in the face. But yeah, you have to let people know that you've opened your doors.
You have to let people know that you're there.
Anyway,
but that's what I'm definitely planning on doing. That's what I have been doing and consistently doing, and you know, I'll keep it up.
Awesome. So let's wrap this up. I want you to give us any final thoughts, any final, you know, statements that you want to make at before we sign off, and where we can find you if they want to support.
Okay, couple of final thoughts. This is a very important election, as we always say. However, it is a presidential election. This will be the second time our local elections are in November. We are looking at, I believe that it was mentioned that we don't necessarily have the numbers as to how moving the election to November really the outcome really looks. I understand that, yes, we have a higher election, a higher turnout when we have presidential elections, but we have to educate the residents to go down the ballot. And in this case, because there is a new ballot, we have to educate the residents to turn the page. And from what I'm hearing and seeing, it's about 4 pages. And if the council election and referendum is on the 3rd and 4th page, we have to make sure that our residents don't get tired after turning the 1st and 2nd page. That's what makes it a little bit difficult to have all elections in November, as well as it makes it a little costly for your average resident. Your average resident that wants to get involved in local politics, sometimes moving things to a big contentious election, you price out your average resident. So it becomes a thing where those that are involved have to be backed by a money machine or backed by a big wig or something like that in order to get their message across. But I'm here to tell everyone that's not the case, and I'm here to dispel that rumor, and that's why I am running independent. And that's what I want to tell everyone. And if you have any additional questions, please ask me. Don't assume, don't articulate anything that someone else has said in place of my own voice. And that's why my voice is here, and my voice is here for a reason.
So yeah, hey, listen, that's why we got you on here today, to tell it from your own
like it is
voice.
That reminds me of the show Like It Is. I used to watch that with my parents, that and Eyes on the Prize.
Oh, okay. So where, like I said, where can we find you? I've had your website scrolling, but tell everybody where they can find you, how they can get in contact with you.
Yes, that's Sean Young 7, CHONYOUNG, the number 7 @gmail.com, or Young for Teaneck Council @gmail.com. You can reach me at either one of those emails, and I will return your email.
All right, let me get that. You said Young for
Teaneck Council
at Gmail?
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much, Chondra. I'm going to go ahead and put this up. If you guys have questions for Chondra, you can, or want to support, want to donate, want to volunteer, there's the email to reach out for her. And thank you for your time today. I hope this was helpful. I say this in front of everybody, so don't take offense, but this is not by any means an endorsement. I don't live in Teaneck, don't have a dog in the fight, and I maintain that with my chest. So
Absolutely.
But good luck to you. And if you guys have questions, I'm Tevra Francis of NJ in Color. That's Chondra Young for Teaneck Council. Go ahead and contact her directly. Yeah, and thank you for your time today. And I hope we didn't eat into your meetings too much, but and thank you for sitting in with her all this time.
I'm about to run off. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you.
All right, girl. You guys
have,
and
if anyone has any questions, I have my pen and paper. I'm ready for you. Thank you.
Got you. Let me see. Yes. Okay. No questions. All right. So thank you so much, Chondra. Have a great day.
You as well. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right. So that's it for today. We had a really good, informative chat today. Thank you guys so much for joining me. My name is Tevra Francis, and this is going to be, well, it's on live right now on Facebook and YouTube. However, you can watch and recap and share and subscribe to the YouTube channel and the Facebook page at NJ in Color. And you can go to our website, njincolor.com, for more information or to just show your support. We've been at this for a while. Like I've been saying, I am 8 months pregnant, so I'm going to be taking a break in the short term to give birth to my baby girl. But if you have any topics that you want to talk about, people that you want to meet, in my break time, I will be starting to look at suggestions and coming back with some different content when I return from maternity leave. I think I have one more chat maybe coming up possibly next week, and then I'm going to shut things down. But like I said, it is a political season. We vote in November. If you're not registered to vote, go to vote.nj.gov and get yourself registered, get yourself ready. If you have moved, if you are in college and you don't know the status of your voter registration, go to that website again. That's vote.nj.gov, and make sure that you are ready to go when it's time to vote. Again, njincolor.com has my shirts. Like I said, I'm trying to feed my family. Y'all help a struggling mama. I'm not struggling, y'all. It's okay. But yeah, thank you for your support. Buy a t-shirt. Thank you for your time. And if, like I said, email me, DM me, publisher at njincolor.com. If you have any suggestions, or if you'd like to, if you have something you want to promote, we do small business promotions on Fridays, and we do lives with bigger topics like politics and everything like that. And that will pick up once I'm back from maternity leave. Thank you so much for your time and your support. And I love you guys, and have a great day. Thank you for connecting with NJ in Color as we connect you to the diversity of North Jersey. Have a great day, everybody.